they were obviously overmatched. Had a lot of new players, and Nick's trying to figure out who he's got and what they can do, and all that kind of thing. I always have felt over the years that it's good to give guys playing time. They practice every day. They work every day just like they're out there every day. So we had 11 guys in double-figure minutes, and played all 13. Probably broke down our continuity a little bit. Guys probably wanted to play, but wanted to get everybody a chance to get on the floor and move around a little bit, and so forth. That probably broke our continuity a little bit. But we had the thing pretty well in hand. I think had we stayed with a tighter rotation, obviously we could have continued to, press up on them, and that wasn't the objective.
Conversely, it must be good for morale to play everybody.
I don't know. I mean, it wasn't very. Locker room wasn't like you'd think. I mean, I think guys are concerned about, what their numbers are a little bit more than, taking a lot of joy in their teammates and so forth. So, that's something we got to. I mean, we're going to be playing in Maui against, 3 straight games against really good teams, and as a result of that, we're in the major spotlight right now. We're going to have to be as good as we can be. All the little mistakes or little things that we don't do that have not hurt us thus far come back to bite you in a big way there.
You talk a little bit about Jordan's game. He seemed to be particularly aggressive tonight.
Well, he'll shoot the ball. I think guys are trying to figure out what their roles are, what they need to do, and that type of thing. And teams made up of a lot of different parts. You got to have everybody kind of do a different thing a little bit. And, I think probably the mentality a little bit right now is, well, I got to score, and we need people rebounding, we need people defending, we need people communicating, we need the whole. That's what makes a team, is to you tie the whole thing together with a lot of things. Jordan has had a real good day. I think yesterday in practice he shot maybe probably every shot he'd take. So we've got to figure out how to work all these guys into the fabric of what we're trying to do to be successful.
Coach, when you made basically a wholesale substitution about 3 minutes into the second half, the players said you came over and told them you're not playing hard.
Not playing hard enough. I think we're trying to establish a certain level of play, and we've had a little bit of trouble with it. I think we obviously, against Oakland, didn't have it, and we almost got beat. We want to, from my perspective, I want to play the games the right way all the time. Let's go play hard and not worry too much about who it is you're playing or what the score is. Let's play as hard as we can all the time. And I think we get a little bit lax sometimes when we don't feel threatened, or we don't feel like, we're going to get beat. So, mentality changes. We somehow got to find a way to have guys play hard all the time. Take pride in their defense, take pride in their help, all those kinds of things.
Did you feel like they responded to that?
Second group went in and did a good job. Made some plays, got through screens. We still, our freshmen get screened. It's just they're going to have to learn not to get screened. They get lost and they turn to get right into a guy's chest, and they'll learn how to tag the screen and get on a guy's backside and chase him hard off of the screen with a show. And we get caught a little bit, and that stuff will hurt us.
Mike, Richard did you off to a nice start tonight in the first half, second half. It's been boarding for you pretty much all year. Have you seen a noticeable difference in his game in the past couple of years, or is it just?
No, he's hanging around the paint. I think he'd like. I would be disappointed if he doesn't average double-figure rebounds. Frankly, I think he's capable of that. I think his mindset is that he can get every board. That's really going to help us. We did mention the fact that when we go small, though, that we can't expect Richard to get every rebound. Then we have to get other people involved. The guards have to rebound the ball. But yeah, I think that we've got to take advantage. I mean, David's a very capable player inside as well. We've got to take advantage of our inside play.
Coach, sticking with Richard, he was here earlier talking about how he enjoys playing with the bench, and there was certain times during the game where you started him, or you had him with 4 bench players. Can you talk about the leadership he's shown this season?
Well, I think he genuinely does enjoy that. I mean, I wanted, because of where teams broken down, it was either going to be he or David in there. So I could have, I left him in with the other 4 guys, and we went, I think, with Roger at the 4. So we had one big, and then David, I think, played with Cameron some. So I think he does enjoy that. I mean, I think he's been good that way from the standpoint of liking to play. But he's made progress.
You mentioned you guys are going to face 3 pretty tough games in Maui. Kind of based on the early returns, what's your comfort level if you do get in a tight game with your freshmen?
That's to be determined. I mean, that's the objective is not to play freshmen just for freshmen's sake. The objective is to have 7, 8, 9 guys in a rotation, but in that rotation have veterans on the floor at all times with those guys, so that if I started Ricky, which I certainly could, then my substitutions would be freshmen off the bench, and that would make it difficult because at some point I'd have a lot of freshmen in there. So I'm trying to keep veteran presence in there with others.
Piccolo seems to be adapting well to that role.
I'm not sure he's as excited as he'd like to be, but I think he understands it deep down what we're trying to do. It gives us the opportunity to put him in whatever spot. I mean, if I go with another 4-man, I'm either going to go with Roger, a freshman, Cameron, a big guy, freshman. So I don't have a lot of choices there as to what I can do with the big rotation.
Coach, Tyrone seemed to bounce back from the Oakland game where he was almost non-existent. You talk about his play today, and does he need to have double-digit points?
No, nobody does. That's the problem. It doesn't matter. It's a matter how many points we have, not how many points I have. It's what can I do to help the team win. That's where we've got to go. I can board the ball. I can guard this guy. Give me that guy. He's their best player. I'll shut him down. Everybody's got a role to play in a team, and that's what we've got to develop and figure out. And it changes from game to game. Tyrone was able to get to the basket today. He was aggressive. That was great. So he was able to do that. Next game, they might say, we can't let Tyrone do this. Somebody else got to do it. You've got to understand and be interchangeable out there.
In that vein, 3/4 of the way through the game, I think Justin had as many rebounds as all of Southern Utah combined. How pleased were you with him having?
Well, I challenged him late. He gets worried about not getting shots or, feel like he's not doing anything. I said, get 10 assists, and he ended up with 8 in 20 minutes. So, if he can fill that role, let's say that he played 35 minutes and had 15 assists, that would certainly stand out, just like Richard's 15, 16, 17 rebounds have stood out. So if somebody else got it going, then you got to go with that. And then, next game is going to be somebody else. So, we get in games against really good competition, which, we'll have a lot more now coming up than we have had. I mean, I would say probably should have won the 4 games we won. I would have been disappointed if we hadn't. But, guys are going to have to, the players are going to have to step up and do what they can do.
Have you had the chance to coach against many of your former players, and do you have a chance to talk much with Nick?
No, Nick's great. He's a great kid. He's loving what he's doing. Of course, they knew our stuff because Nick played. We don't run a lot of it. We certainly don't run it like we used to, but he knew what that stuff was. We turned it over early one time because the kid knew exactly where we were trying to pass the ball. We were very deceptive with it. But I don't know how many guys, Blaine or Stu or any number of different guys that played for me are all out there coaching. I don't know how many times I've played against him. Nick's loving it, though. He's a tremendous kid.